I caught two new offerings on Netflix instant streaming just the other day. So I'm going to do something unprecedented because I see a correlation here. This is a double movie review done while jogging, the first in the world. And it is between 2015's The Big Short as well as 2015's Spotlight. Let's start with The Big Short. Directed by Adam McKay, you know him from making the Anchorman movies. We have this story of guys who saw the housing bubble collapsing, so they shorted the market. They essentially bet against the bubble, and they won. You know, there's talk in the movie of these guys coming up 20 times their investment. They have to put down money and pay interest on it and wait out the bubble crash. So, in the movie, we have Batman discovering that the bubble will burst. He tells his boss, who he has control over the assets, he's going to short the market. He's like, well, hey, you know, you're the smart doctor, Batman. You do what you got to do. He's like, all right. But there's other guys figuring this stuff out, too. A couple of guys who had some startup. They get up to 30 million, but then one person jokes, hey, you still live in your mom's basement? Suppose this guy had $15 million before taxes. I think he's walking away with enough not to live in his mom's basement. So, these guys don't actually make all that much money. Like, I mean, they end up getting their short organizing going through the help of Brad Pitt. But they go at like 80 million. It doesn't seem like worth the risk, honestly. Then we have Steve Carell playing this obnoxious dude. He feels very bitter about money, as his brother had killed himself over some money issues. I think Mark had gone bad, he killed himself, something like that. And he sees all these investors, making fraudulent deals. They got people out there giving loans to people who can't pay them, and they're just getting loans on top of loans. People are buying multiple houses they can't afford. They're renting them out, and then they're not able to pay the mortgage on it anyways. His crew sees the bubble, and they're going to get in on it too. Now, all this is narrated by Ryan Gosling, and I feel like the movie takes a decisive turn in two possible ways, going belly up. First of all, we're dealing with an uninteresting subject matter. Now, what happens when you have a movie with an uninteresting subject matter, with a lot of jargon? Well, it gets tough to explain to a crowd, and it's hard to be interesting. So what do? Adam McKay overcompensates like a mofo. There are several sequences sprinkled throughout the movie, different attempts to try to explain jargon. What's a CDO? Well, here's some graphics. Oh, now we have celebrities showing up. Here's Margot Robbie. I didn't know that's how you pronounce her name. Oh well, I don't give a shit. Well, she's in a bubble bath to tell you about the housing market. Why? Because we can. We're making a movie. I've got, a Rolodex of binders full of women, all this shit. And we're just going to go through them. Here's Selena Gomez telling you shit. It's a lecture. And that's the problem with this movie. It's condescending. It wants to say, hey, these are the good guys. They're making money off the bad guys. You got that, right? But in case you don't understand how the market works, here's a lot of explainers. There is a finesse way to go about this, and it's called working it into the narrative. Non sequitur cutaways don't help. Let's move on to the next movie here, Spotlight. So in this movie, Batman works for the Boston Globe. He's the editor of the Spotlight team, this 40-year-old organization of investigative journalism. I guess it's the oldest investigative journalism group in the country. It's been continuously running. And every couple months they have a project, something they investigate. Well, the paper has a new editor, Sabretooth. And Sabretooth says, hey, I want you to investigate this stuff about Catholic priests, diddling the kids. And they're like, okay, fine, sure, we can do that, whatever. So they get to looking into it. They find out there's like 14 cases, but no, it's bigger than that. It's not as isolated. There's about 90. So Rachel McAdams is in on the investigating team. Hulk is there. I think, some group of them, Hulk, Rachel McAdams, Batman, they go and see Dr. Manhattan, who's a lawyer who had tried to bring this up earlier in like 1993. The movie takes place in 2001, by the way. And I was looking at cars, trying to find some misplaced items, a little anachronism. And usually cars will do that. I think I saw a new RAV4, but it was from an obscure angle. For the most part, they did a pretty good job here. I think they rented like a dozen cars. So like you'll end up seeing the same Subaru as these people drive through the streets of Boston. Not a bad idea. This isn't a huge budgeted movie, but it's a major one. We got Best Picture Oscar. This is directed by Tom McCarthy, whose last movie was an Adam Sandler film. He went from an 8% on our Rotten Tomatoes to a 93%. I mean, between one movie to the next, that's probably the biggest jump ever. He also had quite a decline between these things too, but I felt like this was a pretty decent movie, and it was actually a lot better than The Big Short. So, whereas The Big Short couldn't work this stuff into the narrative, these guys did a clever job about it. Both of them miraculously get Oscar wins for writing. Adapted screenplay. Oh, hey, we love it when you throw in the stars and acknowledge Hollywood. And then original screenplay, based on actual events. I like the way how Hulk, there's this other guy, discovers it down the street as this relocation home for these priests that have been up to no good. He tells his kids to stay away from it. When they have their story ready to come out, that goes to the top, shows how there's more of a cover-up instead of just a few outliers. He puts the paper on the steps of that house, walks away. He doesn't say it. Doesn't beat you over the head with what he's doing. This is a movie that does a good job showing and not telling. It's a stronger film. Maybe in some artistic ways, it's a little blasé. This is your investigative journalism movie. This is Woodrow Bernstein kind of stuff here. A little old school. While I give The Big Short 2 out of 4 stars, I think this is more commendable. I give Spotlight 3 out of 4 stars. Now, did you see what the common occurrence is between these films? No, it's not Batman. It's actually that this was a year, 2015, where Hollywood's trying to get you to look the other way. Oh, hey, corruption with the Catholics. Yeah, we like to dig on them. That's an easy target for us. Us Jews making the movie, make fun of the Catholics. Oh, hey, you guys in the theater, you don't like what happened when the market crashed? Well, here's a movie you can watch so you can blame those bankers, because they never really got locked up. But you can go watch this movie and make money for us and feel good about yourself. We want to remind you about that, and you show us your pain with your money. See, Hollywood's always telling you everyone else is screwing up except us. Everybody, go look at the bankers. Go look at the Catholics. Nope, you're never going to see a movie nominated for an Oscar about how shitty and redundant Hollywood has gotten. You're not going to see people talk endlessly about reboots and sequels in a movie and talk about how Hollywood is out of ideas, how they're afraid to make good movies because the inevitable reboot won't live up to it. You won't hear that. You won't see that in a movie out of Hollywood. Period.